Beautiful day, Patriots. Lesson number 9. This is a little bit more advanced as we go along. I wrote this on December 2nd, 2018. How does the code work? Right? We've talked about it a lot, and you have now, for sure by now, done much on your own, right? By now, right? Do you ever see someone else's or Twitter channel like always, where we go one, we go all? Maybe the channel that you hate, maybe it's the channel you like, maybe it's the channel that just keeps popping up all the time where you're like, how in the world does that keep popping up? Or maybe it's a key word that's always popping up in someone else's tweets. You know what I mean? It's just, how does that keep happening? So when you start seeing all these things, those are your clues. At any time before now, have I been able to get your attention without ever saying your name? You know? You know I'm talking to you, but I don't know your name. So there's a lot of clues, okay? You no longer think like you did yesterday, okay? Do you believe in coincidences? Do you see all the coincidences that are happening as you've been working with this code? And it's the same people that pop up. It's the same, your computer glitches always at the same time. You know what I'm talking about? Those are the coincidences that I'm talking about. You can learn a lot from other people's channels when you stop looking with your eyes and start feeling with the code and going with it. You think differently, so you're going to act differently and you're going to see things differently. Okay, so let's go on to lesson 10. Okay, it's once again, it's a very advanced. It's 5 by 5. It's only for the advanced. If you haven't been following along up until now, this won't make any sense. So, let's start from the beginning and go forward. Well, let's see. I read the Bible backwards the first time I read it. Revelations was the first chapter I read, and I was like, wow, that was cool. And so I read the chapter before it, and then I was like, oh, okay. And I read the chapter before it, and I went all the way through it, all the way up to Matthew. Backwards. It was kind of funny. I personally loved it. It was kind of cool. So I liked it so much that I read it the other way around. I went from Matthew to Revelations. Oh my gosh, it was a much better read. Imagine that. Much better. Made a lot more sense. But if we don't follow a certain order, right? Just like this, the code, things have to have an order. If not, how are we going to get there? If I start at Q, how will I know anything about A? And that's what I did here with Revelations. I didn't know what we were talking about. I mean, you figure things out. We've got brains, but dang, if I would have just done it in order, it would have been a little bit faster. So if I try to tell you this next part and you don't get it right away, keep on trying and study, okay? Keep on trying and studying it. Study the timestamp and gap code. Everything taught so far, you got to forget, right? It's one of those type of things again, You're always going to use the code, but by now, how many coincidences have you seen? Things keep popping up over and over and over and over again, right? You know what I'm talking about? It's just bizarre how this happens. And this is what I'm talking about. This is the matrix. It's talking to you. This is how, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just telling you how it works. How I see how it works, how it's teaching me. If you guys have done this stuff, you know what I'm talking about, right? This is how we've been learning, right? Go look at all the coincidences. Just go look at them. You're going to be learning so many different things. You think I was able to learn all this stuff just by following one Twitter page? You know what I mean? I had to keep going deeper and deeper into the matrix to figure it all out. And it started talking to me, and it really did. And all the coincidences, look what happened. But really, who are we after? And what is the message that we're looking for? We're looking for the gap messages that President Trump is trying to send us. He has the messages through the timestamp and gap code is where we're all trying to get the information from. Okay, right? So, moving on. This is my testimony. Boy, what a week that was, man. We'll do a whole different thing about that later. So we're talking about the code and the formula, right? Well, we'll get into that. That's a different lesson. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, that was a real dream. Okay, here we go. Lesson number 1. We go all. Boot camp 5x5. We're at the USA America Camp Q. We did this on December 8, 2018. We're at boot camp, people. Training for a marathon. I don't care who you are. I care about who you will become. You're in boot camp, and today all equal. Look how many of you are. Look around. Look at all of us. We are a whole Q army. It's amazing. We're very organized. You are lost with all that is going on. All ex-military know what I'm talking about. First thing you do is you try to be a sponge and learn as much as you possibly can. When you get into boot camp, man, you're crazy. Everything's running around. It's all over the place. You know there's something going on. They're telling you, but you have no idea. So you become a sponge, really. What else can you do? And we have already done this with Q. We've already been doing this, right? So what did I skip up here? But today is a day 1, and I don't know what to do. You can see that things are okay, very organized. So we're at boot camp. We just got there, all right? Now check it out. We've already done all this work. We've been to boot camp. We've been to Q camp. We've got our diploma Q soldier. You know what, right? We're one, we go all, right? So once we have done all this stuff because of our brains and our learning and helping each other, we now have gone through boot camp. We're going to help the next soldiers to come in and learn. So when you're in the Army, and all people that have been through any type of military service know what I'm about ready to talk about. Who is in the Army? We think of the Army as nothing but the soldier, right? The guy with the gun going in and being front line. Kill or be killed. Well, there's much, 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 much more to an Army. You have to have, the recruiter that got the guy to sign up. The guy doing the tests. There's a guy that drives the bus. There's a guy that's a pencil pusher. There's doctors, there's nurses, there's cooks for these soldiers. There's dishwashers. There's delivery drivers to get everything all over the place. There's a guy who orders the supplies, right? There's mechanics for the vehicles that drive them. There's a guy fixing the leaky roofs where the soldiers stay. There's a guy calling everyone to make sure everything's good. There's a guy watching the gate so that everybody can sleep safely. Now, so let's think about how many people we've got in our Where We Go One a Q Army, right? And we need help. Everything needs to make this big, huge thing go. Who gave the guy the warm clothes? Who's the guy that's reading the Bible to all these servicemen, right? We got 5x5 million more jobs that need filled to be in this Q Army. Can you find a much needed spot in the Q Army? I know you can. Every single one of us have a talent. Every single one of us have a skill. Every single one of us have ability to make the Army stronger. Without it, it's nothing. With just one person, it becomes everything. You are the one person to make this happen. When you graduate boot camp, you are more than just that one soldier. You become part of something huge, huge. And you know it. And you can count on the people next to you, the people in front of you, the people behind you. Q Army, stand up, fight, fight, fight. God bless you, patriots.